Hoa hoa hoa, this is a voice test.
How do you feel? Do you feel unappealing? Well, the chances are that hole in your heart will never truly be filled. You'll have to live your life knowing maybe you're just not good enough, but you can't talk to anyone about it because it would make it all feel real. It would make you weak, and you need to be strong. Well, we can help you. Introducing Proto Pills. Our revolutionary proto-technology mixes in huge amounts of protein and fiber along with several other chemicals that when mixed together is sure to get you from this to this. And don't worry about what you've heard. Our new formula is scientifically proven to only cause a 45% chance of addiction and less than 1% chance of causing empathy deficit disorder or inception of a Wendigo curse. So call this number now to begin your 7-day free trial, after which it's only $89.99 a month. You can't get these prices anywhere else.
Welcome back to GRYITH Show Live, the weekly, monthly, annual, the show where we claim to talk about all of the things plaguing our society and our world, but in fact never talk about current events. Today will be a slightly shorter show. We are only going to have 2 pre-recorded segments, and then we're going to jump straight into the live segment. So, let's get on with it. Jojo Rabbit is the latest film by Taika Waititi, and it is a film about a young boy who is part of the Hitler Youth and tries to battle internally with the fact that there is a Jewish girl in his house. This film was very poorly advertised, that's what I'm going to say first. It was advertised as mostly funny, goofy bits with fake Hitler, right? But in actuality, it's more about this character of this young boy. Which isn't bad, in fact it was a great movie. The only major criticism I have with the actual movie is that it was a bit tonally conflicted, but at the same time, I don't think it would have been possible to not be tonally conflicted, considering it is the subject matter. World War II, you know, young boy finds out that there's a Jew living in his house. That's complicated stuff. There are some great performances from the young boy. He has great comedic timing, even though his acting isn't always super great. Taika Waititi he's doing his own thing as Hitler. Sam Rockwell is really great, and Scarlett Johansson, one of the best performances I've seen from her, quite honestly. It's the first time in years that I've not seen her and she just be a robot. Are you serious? Anyway, I mean, I haven't actually seen Marriage Story yet. Apparently she's good in that, but I guarantee she's still going to be a robot person. Anyway, visually it's a nice enough movie. It's not the best thing ever made, but it's really nice to look at. There are also some problems with sound editing. I noticed just little things like certain lines cutting off where they shouldn't, and certain sounds not quite sounding right for the environment. But those are just little things. Honestly, overall, I'd probably give this at least a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Because it was really fun. Oh yeah, that's not how it works. I give it a green star. There you go. And it's Cryptid of the Week. I'm never going to do a GRYITH show without this segment because I love spooky creatures. This week we're talking about the Wendigo, which I've wanted to talk about for a while, but I've thought it's too, widely known. I like talking about ones that I've never heard of, and I have to research them, and maybe other people won't have heard of. But this one is one that you've almost definitely heard of. It's very ubiquitous. It is the Wendigo. His Until Dawn, the Wendigo is in that, and his just little pictures and clips. The Wendigo is a fascinating creature from Native American mythology. I can't remember which Native American mythology, so apologies for that. It is a creature born of a human being doing horrible, hideous things. One specific horrible, hideous thing. And it is eating the flesh of another human. It's fascinating. I love creatures like this because it's so telling of some of these natural ethical, these natural morals that we as humans have, like cannibalism is wrong. That's just something that we have ingrained in us from some ancient time, all over the world. No matter where you go, in basically every culture, no one wants to eat each other. Obviously, I mean, I know of some tribes in Amazon and stuff who don't mind eating each other, whatever. But it's fascinating. There's always laws about coveting another's possessions. There's always laws about... Look, I'm talking about the wrong thing now. Wendigos. In certain areas that are cursed, if you eat the flesh of another human, you will eventually transform into this horrifying beast who only craves the flesh of another human. It's kind of, imagine like a golem transformation, except instead of wanting the ring, you want some man meat. No, I don't mean that kind of man meat. I mean arm meat. Let's go with that. There's not much else to say, because I'm sure you already know a lot. There's a lot of very vivid imagery that can be conjured. There's a lot to say about the Wendigo. There's a lot of potential with the Wendigo because it's such a it's so simple, but it's such a visceral image. So that's the Wendigo. Look into it if you'd like. It's absolutely fascinating. We do have one more segment today, and it's from a couple weeks ago, but I haven't made a GRYITH show in like a month, so here it is. What's this? It's the Oscar nominees. They're out for this year, the 92nd Oscar nominees. Wow, and I'm sure if you know me, which I'm sure you do, no one's going to be watching this who doesn't already know who I am, realistically. You know that I think the Oscars are a farce and that no one should take them seriously. And we all know this. You know this, I know this, we all know this. But whenever I say it, people are like, haha, like it's a joke. It's not a bit. It is a little bit of a bit, but it's not a bit! Let's get on with it. I've got them up here. So obviously I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to give my general thoughts on the nominees. And my biggest thing is that they have tried to change things, but not in the places that actually matter. They've nominated Joker for 11 awards, but they have one woman of color in, like, all of the nominations. It's, not great. And, you know, if you know me, you know how I feel about the, you know, race. But it's not right. Yeah, it was Harriet Tubman, the one that acted Harriet Tubman. Okay. Now, that movie was fine and all, but I think that the Oscar nominees are a bunch of old fogies. We all know this. The Oscar voting panel are a bunch of old people who don't actually know anything about contemporary art. And I mean actual. I don't mean contemporary art like fucking a fucking canvas with a blue rectangle in it. I mean art within a contemporary setting. And what they don't seem to realize is that a film can have outstanding qualities without being an outstanding film. And the weirdest part is that whilst they don't seem to realize this, Suicide Squad won the Oscar for Best Hair and Makeup. I'm not even sure that the Academy voting panel is even voting for these at this point. And basically they're not. It's all paid for on some level. Obviously they think they're voting for it, but it's, you know, for your consideration campaigns. It's the same as the Electoral College. I'm getting off the beaten track here. Point is, where the fuck? What was her name?
The first two are Lupita Nyong'o and Elizabeth Moss.
Lupita Nyong'o.
I have 9 answers in...
Lupita Nyong'o should be fucking nominated. Not only was she amazing as the protagonist in Us, she was amazing as the antagonist in Us. She should be nominated for Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress, for God's sake. That was one of the best performances I've seen this year. I will not lie. You know what? I'm getting off course. What did the Oscar nominees do well? The animation nominees were great. There was one Disney movie, Toy Story 4. Frozen 2 didn't even get on, right? Didn't even get on the list. The bouncer's gonna be like, sorry, you're not coming in, Elsa. Why don't you let it go? But, that made me very happy. The fact that not only is there only one Disney movie, but there is a anime movie, I believe an anime movie. The Oscars have done well this year, is Parasite, okay, Google, Korea, right? It's a Korean film.
South Korean.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, Parasite...
Just making sure. Parasite is a Korean film, and it has been nominated for Best Picture. I know that they're American awards, but they are advertised as and recognized globally for some fucking reason as this objective scale of quality. And you can't deny that. A lot of people, a lot of fucking simpletons see it like that. Wow, that was pretentious. But you know what I'm saying. Other than that, though, I don't really like the Best Picture, nominees. Ford versus Ferrari was okay. The Irishman was really good. Jojo Rabbit was really good, but I don't know if it's Best Picture level. Joker, I've seen Joker like 3 times now. The more times I see it, the more I'm like, I don't know if this is as good as I thought the first time I watched it. Little Women I haven't seen. Marriage Story I just mentioned I haven't seen. 1917 is meant to be really good, but I haven't seen it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was really good, but again, I don't know if it feels like Best Picture. Parasite was really good and deserves it. The thing is that 2019 was not a good year for movies. It was a not very good year. That I can't even think of one movie that came out in 2019 that I will remember in like 2030. I really can't. Now, to the live segment for Earthling Cinema, I'm Garrick's Wormuloid. Wait, that's not right. That show sucks. I remember it, so you don't have to. Let's go to the live segment. Hello, Flub. Just Flub, only
Just
Flub.
Our favorite audience.
Our favorite. Honestly, actually, Flub's all you need at the end of the day.
Fair, Flub is all you need.
Flub is all you need.
Hey,
Flub.
It's Flub.
hey.
Flub, why can't I
Wow,
hear you?
you're really low quality. Maybe my internet.
Why can I not
1
hear
sec.
you, my boy? My lad.
I can hear him.
You can hear him.
Yeah, I could.
I can hear the Discord sound effects.
Maybe you got him muted.
No, I don't have Flub muted.
You
No
might.
way, Jose. No
You might
way.
just hate Flub.
I do hate
You
Flub.
might have Flub automatically muted.
I do. I have everyone that isn't me automatically muted.
Yes.
Bad
I can
connection
hear
and
you. I
bad
don't know
net.
what's going on.
Just said she could hear you. It's probably
Yeah.
just me having my settings set to shit.
Set to shit.
Set to the shit setting. Oh well, let's get straight into it. So the first thing to mention is, of course, SCP. Flub. Jess, can you hear Flub?
Oh, no, sorry, I was waiting for you to finish.
Hello, Flub. I can hear you. I don't know why Josh can't.
Hey. Maybe
my
it's
settings
speakers
right.
are weird. You'll have to relay everything I
Flub,
say,
speak.
Jess.
Huh?
Is he speaking?
Hello?
Yeah, Flub is speaking.
Hello?
Go,
Ah.
Not Oculus. It should just come through.
Oh, I know what the problem is. It's because I changed my output device instead of my input device.
Oh, you see.
I want it set to...
Yeah. Yeah, change your
Yeah.
input to that.
No, I've not set it right still. I can hear
Sorry,
you,
guys,
Flub, but
we
it's
won't
it's
be
not.
long.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we
alright.
go. Now I've got it set right. And I want this set to. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. It's fine. It's fine.
Alright.
There we go. Should all be good now.
Alright. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Right. I just wanted to swing by and congratulate you on the return of the best show on Twitch.
The best show on.
podcast ever.
It is. It's the
best
best
show.
show ever made
Yeah.
by
Apart from
humans.
the
I'm
Muppet
so
Show.
happy. This is like the first time I've been able to catch a stream properly since like January, really.
Yeah,
Other
it's
than that Minecraft
ridiculous.
stream.
Also, thank
and
you for
yeah.
the sub. I didn't get to say it because of the pre-recorded segment.
I mean, I'm on the verge of 12 months. I just
Holy
need to
shit.
keep going. 12
That's
12 months
insane.
next month.
12 months. How did that happen?
Well, I mean, it's been over 12 months since we first met
Yeah.
on stream, but yeah, I mean, yeah, time goes by way too fucking fast.
It really does. That's insane. 12 months. Wow.
Crazy.
Well, jumping straight into the show. Oh wait, Flub, are you heading off somewhere?
No, I'll stick around.
Okay, brilliant. Heading straight into the show, I think the first thing to mention is SCP is fucked.
SCP's dead.
SCP is dead.
SCP party.
killing SCP, and you're laughing.
You're laughing. SCP is dying in front of you and you're laughing. Markiplier actually 5 hours ago posted a video about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tom told me, literally as the pre-recorded segment was happening, Tom phoned me and told me about that Markiplier uploaded a video, and Samu posted about this Reddit post.
Yeah, I had to give that a TLDR. From what I gathered, it was just some Russian guys being a bit trashy, getting like a legal like thing over it, like a patent.
Well,
really,
is that it?
Like, yeah, no, like
No.
my understanding of it
this happened. This happened ages ago.
Oh wait, what?
This is over. This happened ages ago.
Oh, it's over.
Well, it's basically over. This happened like months ago, but did Sammy get it from Markiplier?
To show how belated the Griff Show return is.
Yeah, exactly. This did happen months ago. Yeah. I think Sammy must have gotten it from Flub. And sorry, Sammy must have gotten it from Markiplier.
Yeah, just like
I was gonna say, yeah. Sammy must have gotten it from Markiplier, and Markiplier's fucking 2 months late. Seriously, this happened ages ago. I remember seeing it in SC posting on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't
it? Yes, but like it was like some Russian guy got a painting on it because it was like basically free property, unlicensed property on the internet or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, you fucking scumbag!" Because who does that for a public fucking thing? It's like
a scumbag. That's who.
Yeah, it's
Answer
like
your own question.
It's like putting a patent on like old fairy tales.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would do that?
Who would do that?
Bob.
Stupid Bob.
Mr. Iger, who would do that?
Who would make Splash Mountain?
God. Well, I guess that clears that up. This is an old story. I don't actually know where the story ended, so it might be that this is an ongoing story.
It's most likely ongoing.
I imagine it's
if
ongoing.
If it's involving legal shit takes fucking ages.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, so it's likely an ongoing story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Markiplier's probably not too late to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens to that one.
Yeah. I'm surprised the creators of SCP didn't put a painting on it earlier for when
the one from where they posted it on /X?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, well, not from them, but like, now it's become like a big sort of fandom, like a big sort of sensation on the internet, and it's got a cult following. So
the mods of the website, I fucking hate them and they're horrible people. But the one thing they do right, the one thing they do right is that they never limit what people want to do with SCP as a property.
Yeah, they're very pro creators. I'd
which
say,
is the only thing they do right.
They can be anti-writers.
Anti-individual, but pro. They have these great concepts, these great ideals, but they don't always carry through on them.
Yeah, that's true.
Well then, I guess you'll have to catch a later GRYITH show to see how that one goes.
Tune in next week for the GRYITH
Tune in
show
next week to find out if SCP gets fucked or not. I'll have to change my banner on my channel because that's got the SCP logo in it.
Yeah.
My banner made by a fantastic artist who I recommend to anyone.
Who's that?
Trevor Henderson, Slimy Swamp. You did it?
No.
I'm gonna have to delete it. Give me a sec. Next story. Sonic the Hedgehog was shown to an audience, a test audience. Did you hear about this, Flub?
No.
They said it was great. Do you know why I don't? Do you know why I don't trust this?
Why is that?
All test audiences always say that anything they're shown is great. Do you want to know why?
Because they're paid off.
No, not because they're paid off. Because if you're pulled into a room and then someone's like, "We've got something secret to show you," you're the only one seeing this.
Oh.
You get this image in your head that it's that you're experiencing something special. So you create this image in your head that what you're seeing has some greater significance to it. It's why test audiences should never be trusted.
I don't know. Like, I feel like movie audiences nowadays are way too cynical about everything, and sometimes they have like a valid reason to. Like, if I'd been invited to go see like early screening of the Rise of Skywalker, I probably would have watched that and been revolted the same as I was in theaters when I went to, go pay and see it.
Probably, but they wouldn't have chosen you because you're not the
Hey.
target audience.
Hey.
They would have chosen children.
I'm a very well-known film buff in the GRYITH.
I have over 1,000 reviews on my
I have
letterbox.
over one review on IMDb.
But
I have posted a sentence about a film on Facebook after viewing it. Actually, I have, and that post got 3 heart reacts.
I guarantee that this test audience was made up of children and middle-aged parents.
It probably was.
People, which are both groups of people who are very easily
and that's probably the same
entertained.
for this film as well, Sonic the Hedgehog.
I was talking about Sonic, but also for Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh.
Yeah, either way,
yeah,
it works for
remember
either.
which film we're talking about.
They're basically the same film at the end of the day.
Same film. But it's both about blue things that go fast.
Yeah. Light.
Gotta go fast. Flub, are you looking forward to Sonic?
I'm not sure. I wasn't planning to go see it, but maybe.
Flub, don't you have a Valentine's date to go and see it on Valentine's Day, which is opening day?
Oh no.
And then we're gonna play
I'm
Dreams
way-
afterwards, because Dreams officially comes out on Valentine's.
How romantic.
No, I'm way too busy sitting at home feeling sorry for myself to do that.
Oh, I just burped up nachos. Oh, so nice.
You're gonna be alright.
Yeah, I just have a horrible taste in my mouth.
Huh?
Just have a horrible taste in my mouth.
Okay, but you're not feeling
Yeah, I'm
the
fine.
feels.
There's a new writer for Captain Marvel 2. The world doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yay, Captain Marvel 2. I love the cat. That's actually a monster, the only memorable part of the film.
Yeah. Flub, have you
I
heard
remember
of...
you angrily posting about this because WandaVision hasn't come out yet, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, this is the director from this."
Yeah, they're like,
ongoing project."
they've brought on the writer from WandaVision.
Ooh, I don't know what that means.
Do you not know what WandaVision is, Jess?
Well, yeah, but it's not out.
Do you know what WandaVision is, Flub?
No, and I don't think I ever will.
WandaVision is an as of yet, it's not even in production yet, television show for Disney Plus starring Scarlet Witch and the Vision from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You see, I'm never gonna watch that. That just sounds really shit.
It sounds fucking dull. How could you make a whole show about that? What is it going to be, a sitcom?
It's just not gonna translate well because, like, you can't translate AAA superhero franchise to
Into TV
TV
shows?
show.
No, you absolutely cannot.
Mm.
And
You'd have to build it from the ground up for it to work, and they can't do that because the characters are pre-established.
yeah, absolutely. Flop, have you heard of video games?
Oh, well, I'm familiar with one or two video games myself.
Have you heard of the video game company Ninja Theory?
Oh, I actually haven't heard of that one.
You haven't heard of
Why
Ninja
don't you
Theory?
clue me in?
Ninja Theory created the game, the multi-award-winning game Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
The one that Jess likes and also Josh.
And I also created some other games, but mostly
Yeah,
Hellblade.
Enslaved. It was so good.
Yeah, Enslaved starring... Flub, help us out here. Who acted Gollum?
Oh,
Andy
fuck,
Serkis.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis. Enslaved starring Andy Serkis was also made by Ninja
As a
Theory.
monkey.
As a monkey.
Reprising his role from
No,
Planet
that was
of the
his first
Apes.
one.
So
'Cause it was
Planet of the
before-
Apes is
No.
reprising his role as
No.
Monkey from Enslaved.
Yeah, because Enslaved came out before King Kong, and King
That
Kong
was
was
his role.
also Andy Serkis, and then Andy Serkis also went on to play another monkey in the
Yeah.
3.
Andy Serkis has a habit of playing monkeys.
He
He
just loves being
does.
a monkey. It's a monkey
So
man.
basically, I'm monkey.
Oh my god! I hope they get Andy Serkis to be King Kong in the new Kong vs Godzilla movie.
He should make a cameo, but like just be in like one of those motion tracking suits and like pretending to be a monkey.
That's
And he just gets
basically.
crushed.
He spent more time wearing motion tracking suits than wearing regular clothes at this point.
Yeah.
Oh Oh my god. Right, so they're releasing a new game called, but they've not told us what it's called. They're calling it Project Mara, and it looks very interesting. I wanted to go through and break it down.
Because they were looking for people to work on it.
Why didn't you go and work on it?
Because I'm not an experienced project manager.
Jess, you've got to go. Do it. Apply.
I can't. I'm not a project manager. With
Jess, everyone lies on their CV.
I haven't shipped 3 AAA titles, Josh.
Yeah, you
what
have.
What are you talking about? Frog eating flies game
you're
is
right.
revolutionary.
Frog underscore
Yeah,
game
what
is
was I thinking?
revolutionary.
I've made Frog underscore game. I am a
Thank
god.
you, Y2N Joe.
Joe.
Joe?
Joe.
Who's
Rogan?
Joe Pesci?
Joe Kerr? Hello, Joe. Hello, Joe. That was a Simpsons reference. I'll be here all evening. So let's break down this trailer for Project Mara. I'm from Brazil. Hello, welcome to the stream. Let's break down this Project Mara teaser here. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I thought that said Project Maga.
oh my god, imagine.
A game again.
That should be Valve's.
You
mission
didn't get that
statement.
one, did you?
No, I didn't know what you said.
Project Make a Game again.
Oh, I just got it. I just got it. It took me a second. It took me a second.
Good one, Jess.
You're a real chameleon, Jess.
I am.
So this looks to once again be focusing on mental health. Jess, do you think this screenshot is real or in-game?
That's
in engine,
real,
I mean.
actually.
Do you think that's real
that
in
is
engine?
probably...
A lot of these clips are just from their studio.
Yeah.
What's that?
I've seen images from their studio, and that is it.
But why would they
What's
put
the,
this in here if it was
technical-
real?
What's the technical when they use images of in real life scenery and they like sort of put down
Paste it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scan?
It's not photo scan. I forgot what it's called. It's the one that
Photo scan is what I would
is
say.
apparently going to be using for Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh god, that's gonna look even worse than normal.
Didn't they use that for Elder Scrolls
my
anyway?
name
For
is
like Skyrim?
I'm not sure. Oh,
Well, it's nice
he's
to.
killing me. I need to find out what that thing's called.
It's nice to see you then. I'm just gonna keep calling you Joe. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm
sorry,
not
you're
gonna
Joe
try
now.
and pronounce different
You're
names.
a
I've made a
good
fool of myself
Joe.
enough. And if Jess, you keep referencing these fucking bangers today.
I'm just a banger, quite honestly.
Disgusting. Right. Anyway, the game looks interesting. But the thing is, this is an engine,
Yeah.
and this looks like it's an engine.
No, I think that's just a big boy algorithm for stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm not being funny, fellas. I think this whole trailer is an engine.
Yeah, but this is the Ninja Theory office.
That's not the Ninja Theory
It
office.
is, because I've seen images from it. It's if you go on LinkedIn, that's the images they're posting of their office.
Do you like Scooby-Doo sausage? What? I'm
You
sorry, I
look
don't
like
understand.
Scooby-Doo sausage.
You look like Scooby-Doo sausage. Oh, I
I
look like
know-
Shaggy.
Oh.
I do. I've been told a lot
it's
that I look
funny
like
you
Shaggy.
mentioned-
Scooby-Doo sausage, yes.
It's funny you mentioned Scooby-Doo on this stream because it does happen to be Griff's favorite film of all time.
It does.
Yeah,
You're pushing your luck, Scoob.
Scooby-Doo
Oh,
2,
I've
Monsters
got that.
Unleashed is
Look,
the best film.
No.
What was that,
I
Flub?
need to subscribe to tier 2 to get that fucking...
You do. I need to change those
you
emotes.
money grubber.
Maybe I should get
Redo
some
your
amazing artists to redo my emotes. Does anyone have any recommendations?
What?
Because I don't know any good artists. No? Okay.
Because I don't know any good art.
Fuck's sake.
I don't know why you're laughing, Jesse doesn't.
I don't know, Flub, if you've seen any of the Doom Eternal stuff that's come out.
I've been following it very closely.
I'm just going to go through some of it now for those who watching the stream who haven't seen it. Doomslayer in their home base in Doom Eternal has a wall full of guitars.
I thought you just said Doomslayer was in home base, and I was like, well, that sounds about right.
Doomslayer walks through home base in one level. Say something in
That'd be a
Portuguese,
great
please.
level.
I don't know Portuguese, I'm afraid. Doomslayer also has a painting which is a very famous piece of fan art, which is a recreation of a something from Doom 3, I want to say.
What was the name of his bunny?
Oh man,
Game?
Doom Guy
She was
bunny name. Don't Google Doom Guy bunny name. Daisy.
Daisy, yeah, that's right.
I've just sent
Who
some
first
news.
appeared in the original.
In the original?
Yeah, in the original. She was in the ending sort of
Oh, shit.
animation, like art sequence bit.
Holy shit.
The bunny with the severed head.
Oh yeah, holy shit. Oh my god. Well, there we go. Since the beginning, and even now.
Yeah,
also,
she's a part of the deep Doom lore.
Other things that are being referenced are a skateboard from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, which had the Doom Slayer as a playable character.
Oh, that's amazing.
Bookshelves and bookshelves and bookshelves of incredible takeoffs of real life books, and references to other games. My Buddy Superfly, Why I'm So Great, Part 2 by Duke Nukem. Sorry, Dork Nukem.
Implying he's just a massive dork going around slaying guys and getting chicks.
Mesa Science Monthly, predicting unforeseen consequences. Get it?
Oh, yeah. I love little details like this. It really shows when like a studio loves the game they're making.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that it's involved in, yeah.
Living with rage and other common emotions in the apocalyptic wasteland. To pray or not to pray. Vault Dweller Survival Guide. Nuka-Cola. All sorts of great references. There's more as well. Here's another bookshelf which has Quake 1, Quake 3 Arena, The Art of Doom, Doom 2, Doom 1, and master levels for Doom. As well as there's yet more. Eat, Rip, Tear, 50 Shades of Slay, Don Slayote, Slayer House 5, My Best Friend Daisy.
No, I just gotta say, The Ripping Tree is my favourite.
The Ripping Tree, Guts of Wrath, The Man in the High Argent Tower.
How to Stop Worrying and Start Slaying.
The Slayer's Tale, The Art of Rip and Tear.
Demon Farm, 1984
Demon Farm.
Dead Demons is the top tier.
It's barely even a joke.
Exactly, and I love it.
The Great Gutsby. Green Eggs and Pentagram.
The Caco and the Rye.
The Picture of Dorian Slay. Atlas Ripped and Teared.
Oh.
I love how a lot of these would have had to have been made with knowledge of the demon's existence. So I'm imagining all these authors just writing books as the apocalypse just engulfs the entire world around them.
It's true. Oh my god. If you'll give me a moment to talk about theme park news for a moment. I know everyone loves it when I talk about that. I've got
when you're a show for the Disney Corporation.
No, this time it's Universal and then it's going to be Disney. But first Universal. The How to Train Your Dragon area at Universal's Epic Universe Park has been revealed. We've got Nintendo over here, Classic Monsters over here, Fantastic Beasts over here, and How to Train Your Dragon, where they're going to be bringing back the Dueling Dragon launch coaster.
Nice.
Jess, why are you not excited for How to Train Your Dragon?
I am.
Jess, why do you hate Hiccup Horrendous Habit?
I love.
I'm more curious about the Nintendo section, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I imagine it's just going to be a replica of the one they are opening this year in Japan. I'm more interested for the Universal Classic Monsters section. Because if I zoom in, I've seen high resolution versions of this concept art, and there's like a spooky village that looks like the one from Frankenstein. There's like a castle like in Dracula. There's a lot of cool stuff they could do there.
You should check GRYITH News, Josh.
Like is it one of those Edwardian European sort of style Transylvania?
Yeah, exactly.
Places?
Exactly.
I love that.
I love that a lot. It's
great. Like Transylvania land at Chessington?
Yes.
Excellent place.
Absolutely.
Too bad they shat on it.
Absolutely. Flub, are you watching the stream right now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Do you see this fucking horrible Miguel from Coco costume?
Oh yeah.
It's Can we all three of us confirm that it's horrible and awful?
Yeah.
Well, it does look kind of uncanny.
It looks
kind of spooked me a bit.
Do you know what this is replacing? Do you know what this costume is replacing?
Wooden puppet.
The fucking beautiful, amazing, charming ass wooden puppet that played the guitar.
That is pretty charming.
Yes. Why would you not keep that?
Yeah, I mean that's just more creative.
It is. It's much more creative, and it's much more like technically impressive.
Can you say that into the microphone?
How'd you pronounce that, Jess? Is it Quaho?
I don't know.
Click that button.
Oh. Keijo.
Keijo?
I smell Keijo.
Oh my god. You could be saying
Keijo.
Keijo chicken.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, that's it for theme park news. I'm not going to go on about it. Jess has just sent me this this article about Watch Dogs.
Yes.
Jess, this feels like something I should watch when I won't get copyright stricken for watching it.
Oh, that's true. It does look cool though.
It does look cool.
Properly rendered the people they're interviewing.
Breaks
cool.
in video games. Ooh.
Oh my
dreams
god.
are coming together.
You're right. This is an interview that takes place inside the game.
It's cool, isn't it?
That's funny. I like that.
It's cool.
That's a good bit.
Click is, by the way, a really good show.
Click has its moments.
Yeah, Click's good.
But it's not always
when they
good.
went to Kojima.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Did anyone see Brad Pitt talking about when he did his acceptance speech for that one award, and he thanked Margot Robbie's feet?
Oh no.
You see this, Fluff?
No, I haven't. And I
He
feel
was
like I
like-
could have gone without it, but now I have to see it.
He says, "I want to thank Leonardo DiCaprio." No, I'll just play it.
My co-stars, Leo, Margot Robbie's feet, Margaret Qualley's feet, Dakota Fanning's feet. Seriously, Quentin has separated more women from the shoes than the TSA.
He fucking roasts Quentin, and then it cuts to Quentin, and this is the face that he's fucking pulling. Look at the fucking rage. The pure. He's giving him a death. You can only call that a death stare.
Well, I mean, he did mention feet.
He was. He had feet.
Whenever anyone mentions feet,
That's feet.
And Quentin is on the scene.
Whenever anyone mentions feet around Quentin Tarantino, you know, shit's about to get serious.
I have a nephew called Quentin.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact for you there.
Josh, what is this?
Second AD.
Yeah.
Assistant to the director.
Oh.
Or assistant director. It depends on what the studio's stance is.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, Dying Light 2's been delayed indefinitely. Goodbye. Do you remember on the last GRYITH show where I was saying Dying Light 2 looks really exciting and they're doing some really innovative things with it?
Yeah.
It's been indefinitely delayed, so it might not come out.
Well, yeah, they're so depressed that they lost all the coverage from the GRYITH show being put on hiatus.
That's true. That's
they
true.
They just couldn't continue the development without your praise going towards all the devs.
You're absolutely right.
They needed you, GRYITH. They needed you, and you failed them.
I have failed them. I was the only thing keeping them afloat.
You were the only motivation, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. Who else wants to see Dying Light 2? Nobody.
I want to use this as a jumping off point to talk about something that I've talked about on stream before, but never on the GRYITH show. Something that I think is very important right now. People are really, really getting up in arms about how many games are getting delayed recently.
Yeah,
can fucking gamers
being
stop?
Really entitled.
Yeah, seriously. Like, oh, you said you were going to release it now. Fucking stop expecting games to be getting better as a medium, but expecting them to release in the same length of time.
Yeah, just be grateful they're coming out and people are still working them.
Yeah, don't expect fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 to release in the same, like, to be made in the same length of time it took to make GTA 4, you know?
And also consider 2020 is going to be a massive like revolution in gaming as a whole.
You think?
Well, that's what all signs are pointing to. We're pulling a very different direction in gaming.
Half-Life Alex?
Half-Life Alyx, we've got Watch Dogs with like literally loads of people being generated in a whole different like even play style.
Watch Dogs Legion.
Strand type games. I know that sounds stupid, but like
even Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 supposedly is the the final evolution of the because games have been trying to figure out the whole like karma system, like different dialogue options leading to different endings, and video games haven't quite figured it out yet. But supposedly Dying Light 2 is that it's that concept finally realized fully.
Yeah.
Like full branching dialogue that completely changes the story and the world and the characters.
Well, yeah, then I can see why it was delayed indefinitely.
Exactly.
They've probably got a lot more to work on there.
And on Half-Life Alyx, Half-Life Alyx was meant to release. When was it meant to release? No.
Isn't it October this year, or was it earlier?
No, it's releasing early this year, isn't it?
Yeah,
like April this year.
Let me Google it.
I thought it was like April.
I'll look on the Steam page.
Yeah, but supposedly.
Yeah, March.
Supposedly they threw a bunch of people into crunch because of the release of Boneworks. Supposedly, really threw them for a loop because.
Yeah, well, Boneworks looks really good.
Yeah, Boneworks absolutely has changed the way that we see interaction in VR. It's completely changed the way we see interaction with objects and with enemies in VR.
Do you think they saw all those like little machine robot things latching onto the players' head and they thought, oh shit, we need to revise our head crabs?
Probably. I mean, I'll be honest. Those VR things in Boneworks are so much cooler than the head crabs. Like on a visual basis. Because
if you're gonna start dissing head crabs, you're gonna have a bit of a problem here.
No, right? I love head crabs, but with a head crab, what do you have on a visual level? You know, thing jumps at you, you see some fleshy parts. With the VR crabs, you know, they jump at you. You see you can see the VR thing inside them. That's a fucking frightening visual. But in any case, apparently Boneworks really threw them for a loop. And they've gone back and they threw all of the developers into some major crunch time and have completely overhauled parts of the gameplay.
You see, this is why Valve is suffering at the moment, because they're trying to meet deadlines more than they're trying to make games.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you force people to work like that, in that way, that's going to make them lose passion in the projects they're working on, and the passion is what makes Valve such a good company.
I absolutely agree. And I think
such a good company.
Yeah, I think, and I'm going to sound like a dick, but I think that the consumers are entirely the problem with the games industry at the moment. Obviously, the boss is putting people into crunch time, but the only reason crunch time exists in the way it does is because gamers expect a certain level of. I'm not saying games shouldn't be quality products, but I'm saying that gamers expect things to have these super 4K textures and these super duper everything, but expect things to be released within the same time frame as they would have back in 2000, you know? And games have evolved so much in the last 20 years, but gamers still expect the same length of time, and that's why we see so much crunch. That's why we see so many delays. That's why we have such a shit state of developers in the game industry right now, because consumers expect too much. They expect developers to be able to pull some magic.
I definitely agree.
And it's not even, I mean, I mentioned textures, but it's also, you got to think about everything, you know, we expect better AI, we expect better, and I mean, with the technology's not keeping up. The technology is not keeping up with what we are capable of achieving in video games at the moment. PCs and consoles are not capable of handling better AI than what we currently have for enemies. I'm not going to talk about specific products, which I will not name right now because you will sigh. But the future of gaming is inevitably cloud streaming.
Yeah.
It is inevitably cloud streaming.
Also, quantum
We're never gonna hear the
computing
end of
via
it.
the cloud.
No, seriously, cloud computing. You can have a machine as big and as fucking powerful as you want in some server away somewhere. That is the only way we move on. I mean, unnamed game streaming service that I'm not going to name.
Just say it.
Stadia.
Google Stadia.
Google
You
Stadia.
should have a button. That's
Google
like,
Stadia.
whenever you say Stadia, it's got a little counter.
Google Stadia has
We
dedicated.
should get Stadia emote for the channel.
Oh my god, we have to.
How big a meme is.
Stadia has dedicated AI chips. Xbox xCloud has dedicated ray tracing chips for every single one of its instances, even though none of the games currently on it support ray tracing. It's just future proofing, but you can't have that kind of future proofing, and you can't do these frequent updates to the technology realistically unless you're a fucking rich person in your own home, and if you're a console gamer, even less often.
Wait
So
a minute.
the future is inevitably in the cloud. That's the only way in the modern day that we get innovation within the industry.
Although I will say one little interjection, which is a bit old news, but I really hate the way Microsoft are going with the next Xbox that they're going to release. They're doing away with discs and they're moving it all online cloud-based. And I really hate that because the whole thing of Xbox is I want to be able to bring my games over from the past and be able to play those.
Yeah.
Just as much as new releases.
Not to talk about Stadia again. But everyone's
just sweep it back to Stadia.
All the fucking dude bros complaints about Stadia were, oh, I won't own my games like they think they actually own their games now. But then when
if
Xbox...
if you use Steam,
yeah, exactly. If you
use
use
a service, mate.
It's fucking Steam. Imagine thinking you own your Steam games. Jesus. But then Xbox is like, yeah, we're not gonna have a fucking disc drive, and no fucking crickets. No one mentions it.
That actually.
But I've got it downloaded on a hard drive. That means I physically own it. Oh, does it? Oh, you fucking baby.
Oh, that's the most vindictive I've ever heard.
Oh, gamers are fucking babies.
You're a baby.
Gamers are
I
fucking...
was going to interject again.
Yeah.
Did you watch that video Rush Scott did on Games as a Service? It was like a 1 hour video. I
from like a year ago?
Months back. Yeah, ages and ages.
Yeah, I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much all the information anyone needs for that. So if anyone is curious about why Games as a Service is bad, please do go and check out Rush Scott, the Cursed Farms' video on that as soon as you can.
Yeah, oh man. Gamers are so fucking stupid.
Gamers are so freaking epic.
I'm going to end up talking about gamers for the rest of the show, because
Gamers and Stadia, that's all you ever talk about.
Gamers are fucking awful. Gamers, video game consumers as a whole, as a generalized group of people,
we suck.
Are absolutely fucking... They abhor the idea of change.
We are the absolute bottom of the barrel when it comes to progressive thinking.
Seriously, gamers fucking don't want new games, don't want new things in their games. I mean, all you need to do to know how shit gamers are is look at the fucking ratings on some JRPGs. Just because they've got anime and tits, they're like, oh, brilliant, Attack on Titan 2.
It's as simple as looking at the front page of Reddit.
Oh, absolutely. But let me show you the ratings for some games. Attack on Titan 2, which is a fucking garbage, awful piece of shit, not even playable game, is a 7 out of 10 on IGN. It's fucking awful.
Well, you can never trust these like media review sites. Like, I never trust any of them. Like,
okay, what about Fire Emblem Three Houses, a fucking boring, basically a dating simulator chess game? Just got
How
added to
much
fucking
has?
Smash Brothers. I can't find any ratings. Let's see on Metacritic.
What is Metascore?
Okay, Fire Emblem Three Houses for Switch on Metacritic. 89!
Ooh.
He's 89. Okay, and
Hey,
the...
Griff,
Yeah?
remember when Metascore meant something?
Oh, yeah, do you remember? Okay, now for the creme de la creme. The worst game I've ever played, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Which is...
Oh, no.
It's barely a fucking game. It plays itself. Right? You go into you push the stick forward, you go into combat, and the game plays itself.
Oh.
Literally, all of the attacks are auto attacks, and occasionally
That's
it'll
not
be
fun.
like, yeah, and occasionally it'll be like, oh, press Y to initiate your super attack. But most of the time you won't have to, because your fucking normal attacks will do it eventually anyway, and you can walk away and get a cup of tea. 83% on Metacritic.
Well, I mean,
Do you know why?
Maybe they're just busy. They left it to play itself. They
Do you know
returned it.
why
Like,
it's
oh,
got an
look, I won
83 on
the game.
Metacritic? Shall I show you why it's got an 83% on Metacritic? I can show you right now.
No, please do.
Here's one of the main characters. Here you go. Here she is. Can you see that 83% on Metacritic
God,
now?
that's awful. That is shit.
I can see why gamers would appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's very clear to me now.
There we go. Let me show you some more of the girls that you can collect.
You
here.
can collect them now?
Yes, you can collect these women.
That is delightfully devilish.
How about
Devilish, Seymour. Oh.
how about this one?
Do they have trading cards as well? They can splooge over with your friends.
How about this one?
Wait, I can't say that on stream. Sorry.
It's fine. I'm gonna brush past it and pretend you didn't say it. What about this one? Can you see the 83% on Metacritic with her?
Oh yeah, I can definitely.
What about
see
this cat girl, who in the English version of the game has a hilarious Scottish accent,
Yeah.
which doesn't fit her design at all. What I'm saying is, gamers are fucking children who are the worst.
Alright, gamer.
Way to alienate your audience on Twitch, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even afraid. I'm not gonna hide my views.
I won't be censored.
I'm a man, not a number. And then fucking Pokemon. You remember? Fucking Pokemon was like, yes, we've made it so that you can move the camera, and we've gotten rid of some of the fucking Pokemon that I guarantee no one could name.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, well, it's basically a fucking failure. Look at that tree. It looks different from that one. Anyway, moving on to our next story. Tales from the Loop is going to be at South by Southwest.
Yay. I wish we could go. I really do.
Do you remember when that documentary about Apu being racist came out?
Oh yeah.
And The Simpsons said, we're not going to be getting rid of Apu. What do you want about?
I only got rid of the poo.
Well, they just announced that Hank Azaria is no longer going to be voicing Apu.
He's gotten rid of himself.
Oh yeah. What else? Oh, big story for me and no one else, because I'm the only fucking person in the universe who cares about this.
Gamers are the worst.
Like most things that I care about,
Elder
I'm the
Scrolls
only
Online.
person. It's Elder Scrolls
I mean,
Online.
it has a cult following, but
Yeah, of
it's
10
kind
people.
of a cult of degenerates.
Yeah, it is. But do you know why I'm excited for this? The last DLC was fucking awful garbage. It was like, come out to the Khajiit land where there's deserts, and we put some dragons in there. That was the last DLC.
Hey, you sack this shit. How about you come out to all these desert easy?
Hey, come see a fucking furry, why don't you?
It's just a flat plane of fucking default Unreal Engine textures, you sack of shit.
Come on, you'll pay full price for this, won't you, you piece of garbage?
It's literally filled with garbage. Look at all that
Come
stuff.
on.
Yeah.
Come on, what's the worst that could happen, eh?
Come on, it's deep, Camille. Come on.
Have I ever lied to you before?
Right. The only thing I've ever said about Elder Scrolls Online that they should change, that's not true. The only thing since Tamriel Unlimited that I've said they should change is vampires, because they have werewolves and vampires in the game, and the werewolves get this ability to transform into a powerful wolf form with these unlockable abilities that are just an incredibly powerful but hard to master transformation. Vampires get a 50% health decrease in the sun. And that's it.
It's all about the law.
So I've said for a while they should rework vampires, and please, for the love of God, add the vampire lord into the game.
Yeah.
So do you know what they've done?
What they've done.
They've
added it.
Okay, let me fully say this so I don't make a fool of myself in the future. What they've done is they have added in the vampire lord, and they've confirmed that it's going to be an enemy, is going to be the final boss.
Ooh.
But they haven't confirmed if it will be a player thing. They also haven't said what's going to happen if you play this story where you fight vampires as a vampire. Are you going to be forced into killing vampires? Or is it going to be like Dawnguard, where you can choose to either help or fight them?
I'd say probably more like Dawnguard.
You'd hope, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And with every DLC so far, Elder Scrolls Online has released a new character class, but I'm willing to bet that this time they're not going to be releasing a new class. They're going to be releasing a full overhaul of Vampire. Either that, or they'll release Vampire Lord as its own class, which would be interesting, and I don't think it would be a good move, because how would that fit in lore-wise?
Yeah, putting like separate subdivision classes, like, oh, you have Vampire, then you have Vampire Lord.
Yeah.
And the Vampire Lord is stronger than the vampires. Look, they're
Yeah.
ignoring it.
Plus, if they added in Vampire Lord as a separate class, that means you'd be able to be a Vampire Lord, but you could contract vampirism.
Yeah, that would be just stupid.
It would be stupid. It wouldn't make any sense. Not even in a lore, from a lore standpoint.
It's bad lore.
Not even from a lore standpoint. Just imagine choosing to be a vampire as your class and then playing through the game, and then suddenly you contract vampirism. And it's like, what the fuck? How did that happen? Oh, man.
Hopefully that's not the way it's gonna go.
Oh, we can only hope. Did you hear about... we talked about Nintendo Land earlier, Flub. You said you're interested.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do from an aesthetic standpoint.
From an aesthetic standpoint, what about a technological standpoint?
Well, yeah, that too.
I could talk for a while about the stuff that's rumored that they're doing in the Mario Kart ride. Where supposedly...
That sounds actually really interesting.
Yeah, supposedly they're going to have screen tunnels which surround you, and you're going to ride in carts that... God, how do I describe it? There's also going to be a Donkey Kong ride, and they're going to do this thing where they simulate... You know in Donkey Kong Country where you can jump over, like, broken bits of track?
Yeah.
They're going to simulate that on the ride.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
Do you know how they're going to do it?
Yeah, how they can do it.
So the ride vehicle that you sit in, I'm doing hand gestures on screen. The ride vehicle that you sit in will be here.
Oh yeah.
But the actual bit that's driving it will be way down here underneath the track, with a big rod that goes into the ride vehicle that looks like a minecart that you're sat in.
Yeah.
So what they can do is, whilst it's driving along, when you get to a break, a hole, quote unquote, in the track, that your cart can jump it, but it'll still actually be connected to your ride vehicle on the real track down beneath it. So it will feel and look like you're jumping over the track. It's an illusion.
An illusion.
On the Mario Kart ride, it will have a similar system where the car you're actually sat in isn't the real car, but instead you'll be sat in a cart, a one-person cart, although I imagine I'll make it like a two-person or a four-person cart, just so they can get more people on and off the ride.
I think they should just embrace it and let people just free roam the tracks in their own go-karts.
Oh my
like
god.
Daredevil stunts.
Oh my god, that would be insane.
It would be a nightmare. Like what was that place called in America? Adventure Park or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Jesus.
Jesus. There is. Yeah, here you
It'll
go.
be from what it lasts.
Here you go. So this is what they would be using for both Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, except on Donkey Kong they'd be using one similar to, Jess, you might remember Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey in Hogwarts. Is a very similar system. The one in Hogwarts.
Oh, yeah.
Is a very similar system to what they'll be using for Donkey Kong Country, where the ride vehicle that you're sat in isn't the real ride vehicle. The actual ride vehicle and the tracks are way down beneath.
Yeah.
But this is what they'll be using for Mario Kart. This is what will be above the track, the car, and then down below the track will be these motors and wheels and things. And that will allow you to feel like you're drifting, because they can just tilt the car on an angle, but have it still drive around.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a very interesting way of creating that illusion. I mean, these are four-person ones. Yeah, see, they show it a bit here, where it looks like you're drifting, but you're not really. The other thing technologically is something that theme parks keep saying they'll do, but not doing it. But this time it looks like they're actually following through. Like ARG elements. The only other thing close to this that I've seen is in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on the app. You can get missions on the phone app for Galaxy's Edge, where you have to go to physical places in Galaxy's Edge and scan things or press buttons, and you will get points. And the faction with the most points at the end of the day gets a special prize in the app, which is interesting, but it's just stuff in the app, so who cares? This, on the other hand, is another app, but it connects to this band, this Snap band that you can see here. And those all connect to an app, so that when you're wearing it and you punch a block like Mario, which I show here, it goes badoo, and you get coins. And you'll probably also get coins from riding the rides and doing other things. And they show this lovely, if I switch to the desktop for a second, this lovely little look at what the app will look like. It's very Nintendo. This screams Nintendo.
Yeah.
And you can see the whole Mario area in Nintendo Land in Japan.
So you can use it as a virtual map of the resort.
Exactly. And I'm guessing that these little grayish dots right here that I'm hovering my mouse over, I'm thinking those are areas of interest for the app. Shops or the little blocks that you can...
Pokestomps.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what these coins do for you. They haven't actually said that yet. Like, what you can do with these coins. But I am very to find out.
Yeah.
God, I should shut up about fucking things.
What's up next on the show?
Flub, should I get Resident Evil 2 or Doom Eternal or both?
Yeah, do both.
Yeah, I mean, I can theoretically afford both. So, like...
I mean, I'd say Resident Evil 3, because I feel like that's... I mean, having experienced Resident Evil 2 for the first time recently, because I got it on sale over Christmas, like, that was a really, really good game. Like, even though I'd watched it multiple times with multiple streamers, I still had, like, a whale of a time playing it.
It's such a good
game.
And,
like, the fact that it captured such a good, like, game experience, it makes me want to, like, play more. And I feel like you'd have a lot of fun playing it as well.
On a technical level, it's the best game of last year for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I had more fun playing it than any other new game I've tried.
My favorite game of last year was Control, but if Control hadn't come out, Resident Evil 3 would absolutely take that hands down.
Yeah.
Sorry, Resident Evil 2, but Resident Evil 3 looks very good.
It looks like they're changing up a lot of stuff as well, like Nemesis having a flamethrower and stuff. Wonder what they're gonna do with that.
It's just I know that Resident Evil 3 wasn't as good as Resident Evil 2 in the originals. So
well, I mean, it was kind of iconic for some parts of it. Like Nemesis was the most iconic villain of the series, pretty much. Yeah,
I'm hoping that. See, my hope for both Doom Eternal and Resident Evil 3 is that they don't ruin it. If you know what I mean. Like Doom 2016 was so perfect, and Resident Evil 2 was so perfect.
There's no chance, I don't think.
But I'm just
feel
worried
like both
that
companies are like ones that won't really sort of choke.
I'm just worried that by trying to improve it, they'll take away some of the good. I don't know.
Well, that's the beauty though, because they're not trying to improve Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah.
They're trying to improve the original.
That's true.
Which I think is what they do. The same as last time. And really the only way to go from there is up. As long as they capture just the right dread from having to escape Nemesis and like carry him, walk around rooms nearby like they did with the Tyrant, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
They nailed the Tyrant with
they did.
Resident Evil 2, so they're gonna nail it with Nemesis. They have to.
I really hope. I mean, I'm a worrywart at the end of the day with these things.
Don't get your hopes down.
Yeah, but if I get my hopes down, then I can only be pleasantly surprised, right?
Exactly. Well, but don't lose hope.
Either I'm proven right or I'm pleasantly surprised.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Ewalker20 for the Twitch Prime sub.
It's Ben.
Who?
Hello, Ben. Someone on my course.
Really?
This is Josh, Ben. And
hello.
I haven't met the man.
We're talking about Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I'm sat here on LinkedIn. I gotta be honest. But yes, I will involve myself in the conversation.
Jess, do you think they'll ruin it with Resident Evil 2 or Doom Eternal? Do you think, because I was saying to Flub...
Resident Evil 3, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I was saying Resident Evil 2 and Doom 2016 were like perfect games.
Yeah, agreed.
And trying to make a sequel to that and trying to change things, I'm worried that they will be worse products.
I don't know.
I feel like with Doom it's less so. I feel like it was definitely things to improve with Doom 2016. But with Resident Evil 2, it really felt like a perfect experience.
Yeah. I don't know, I do worry because this is their third in that style. I don't know. Maybe. I really do trust them to make a great game because they've done so well recently. And I don't know, it's a worry adapting it because the early ones are so cheesy.
I feel a bit like they've been waiting just to get to Nemesis because as we all know he's like the most iconic of like the Tyrant sort of things.
Yeah.
And like they've finally gone to that episode of the series. It has to like be really great. But like they must have been planning this from the beginning.
My question is
Resident Evil 2 in my head is probably like I don't want to like put it down or anything, but I feel like that in some ways might have been like a test like run for if Resident Evil 3 was going to be worth the hassle.
It could be. It's possible. It's very possible. But my question is, because they've remade Resident Evil 1, they've remade Resident Evil 2, and now they've remade Resident Evil 3. Are they going to remake 4?
Is there a point?
A lot of people like 4 as it is.
It was so bad, though.
No, 4 was the one that people thought was campy, cheesy fun.
Oh, wait, which one did we play? We played 5 and 6, right?
5 and 6 were the awful, terrible ones. I don't even think they'll bother. No, maybe that's what they'll do. They will remake 4, and like similar in a similar way to 2 and 3, and just sort of do it as like a remake and making it better. But then 5 and 6, they'll just make completely new games because because the originals were so shit.
And then make 7 2, which is 8.
Oh my god.
Resident Evil 7 Part 2, the second VHS, the CD-ROM.
Yeah, they'll do all of them. They'll go 2, 3, they'll go, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 0, yeah, That was the remake of 1.
Oh shit! No, it was.
It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 7, 2, 3, 4.
Oh fuck.
5, 6, 8.
Oh no! Or what they'll do is change Resident Evil 7 to Biohazard 1.
Biohazard. Well, no, it's called Biohazard in Japan.
Yeah, shit, it is.
It's called
No.
Biohazard 7
They have
Resident
no way
Evil
out
in
of this.
Japan.
What are they gonna do?
Well, I mean, like it's probably like you said, they're gonna make sort of new IPs, maybe like taking place before, or like alternatively to the original sort of games. But like, it's gonna be sort of similar to you remember how they made Resident Evil 0 as kind of like a prequel.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make something new like that, like a prequel to Resident Evil 4 or something.
It's possible. It's very possible.
I feel like
Hopefully we'll get like a team up based off the characters in the new continuity.
That would be cool. I mean, they do have to kind of explain what happened to Chris Redfield between Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Because if I...
Wait, he's in 7?
Yep. Field...
Where?
Wait, Resident Evil 6... He is jacked in Resident Evil 6. No, that's 7. That's 7. That's 7. Where is he in Resident Evil 6?
No, that is 6.
Alright. He's super jacked. You can see the fucking veins in his arms.
Yeah. Wait, chainsaw controller?
Yeah.
What?
Resident Evil 7, Chris Redfield. And then suddenly...
Where is he in 7?
Suddenly he's not as jacked anymore. He
Yeah,
goes
but where
down in
was
size.
he in
What
7?
happened? He's at the end.
He's at the end.
He's at the end of Resident Evil 7, yeah.
Okay.
That's Resident Evil 5.
So
He gets progressively more jacked through the series, and then in 7 he's just like, I'm baby.
Well, no, he's just wearing a jacket.
No, he's not. Look at its fucking arm size.
Yeah, but he's wearing a baggy ass jacket.
Look at his fucking shoulder size, and then look at his neck.
Yeah, he's definitely got that same muscle definition.
Nuh-uh.
Josh, look at how fat my arms on this coat are. And then if I do this, it's almost like
That's it.
I don't look the same.
Okay, we need shirtless pics of Chris Redfield on the
Dude.
please.
Look at him. Look at him. He's
He does
considerably...
look slimmer in the face.
Yeah,
I will
look
say that.
at that. What happened to him? Has he been
His
fucking...
neck's definitely less muscular.
Yeah, he was fucking jacked in Resident Evil 6.
Tell you what, they might have him on that SAS or diet plan, exercise regimen.
How are they going to
slimming down, getting leaner?
They've got to remake 5 and 6 to explain what the fuck happened to Chris
There's
Redfield.
Resident Evil 6.5, which is just him sat in a room.
It's just
starving.
him. It's just him like, I gotta go on a diet. I gotta stop with the roids. Oh my god, it is. It's just PT and he doesn't get to eat because he's spinning around.
He doesn't get to eat, and that little bag of rotten food is
Oh
the
no,
only
the
sustenance
fetus
he
bag.
gets. He eats the fetus.
PT
'cause he's
fetus
so hungry.
bag.
But it's not a fetus bag, it's just a bag.
It's a
isn't it?
fetus bag. I always
It's a
figured it had a
fetus
fetus in it because it's the fetus's voice.
Oh, is it? I thought it was just a bag that like talked.
But it's the same voice as the fetus.
Oh.
I saw me walking in front of myself.
Well, anyway, do we? Oh wait, I wanted to talk about Morbius.
Oh yeah.
Because we haven't talked about it yet. Flub, have you seen the trailer for Morbius?
I have to break something to you.
Yeah.
I'm really not interested in a lot of the new Marvel projects, like
Oh,
until the
it's
new
DC.
X-Men.
It's not
or-
DC. It's even
I
worse.
thought Morbius was a Marvel character.
He is. Do you know what? It's even worse. It's
Sony.
even
I was
worse.
like, what
It's
am I
even
thinking?
worse. It's a Sony character, right?
Yeah.
It's in the same universe as Venom. Gotta get him, Venom. But do you know what's even worse? Not only is it in the same universe as Venom, at the end of the trailer, there is a moment where they show a character that is very, very clearly the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, meaning that this is now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, meaning that Venom is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
meaning that when everyone was like, back last year, when all of the Spider-Man controversy was happening, and people were making jokes like, oh, they only gave Spider-Man back if they promised to put Venom in the MCU. That was right, and that's fucking happened, and Venom is now in the fucking MCU.
I've just got a fan theory. You know how Venom feels like it came out like
in 2008?
Yeah. What if in canon it did? What if it's in the same universe as the original fucking bloody Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
But Sam Raimi Spider-Man
would be a dream come true.
Yeah, but it might be because that suit
because
in
the
trailer
symbiotes exist and work differently.
I mean,
than Sam Raimi.
Sony's already experimented with multiple parallel timelines with like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and you know it works.
Oh
so
my God.
It's not out of the question for them to attempt something like that.
And some of the production crew for Into the Spider-Verse 2 have implied that they are throwing around the idea of having one of the live-action Spider-Men appear in the movie.
Because my headcanon is the one from the main Spider-Man is the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Because he does the whole...
Peter B. Parker.
I'd be happy to see any of them.
I'd be happy to see any of them.
Yeah.
They've already confirmed that they're going to have Japanese Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen Japanese Spider-Man, Flub?
Can't say. I think the only Japanese Spider-Man I've seen is that poorly placed statue with the. You know, I'm just gonna cut myself off there.
His Japanese Spider-Man showing on screen.
Spider-Man.
I don't know if you're watching the stream, Flub, but this is Japanese Spider-Man. He's fucking the best.
I just realized who you're talking about. I know this guy. An emissary of hell.
He is. I am an emissary from hell. Spider-Man. Oh my God. Hey, Craig Steve. I assume it's yes. He's the best Spider-Man, but he's going to be in Spider-Verse 2.
Oh,
They've confirmed.
He definitely deserves a place.
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
Marvelously.
Marvelously.
Oh, you know what I don't like? They've made the eyes thinner.
They did.
That's problematic.
Stan Lee has a cameo in the show.
Fuck.
Is the original voice actor, not voice actor, but the actor of
I think
Japanese
so.
Spider-Man still... Because if they get him to be in it, that would be...
Again, Spider-Verse 2 is in pre-production still. So they're still... But they did say that they were in talks about it.
Why does it look like Power Rangers?
I do want to say that...
Power Rangers, that's a fucking Megazord.
Yeah, he has a mech. Japanese Spider-Man has a mech.
But that is literally the design of a Megazord.
Yeah, Jess.
Like
Japanese Spider-Man has a mech. What's wrong with that? What's weird about that?
I mean, it's only a matter of time until the MCU Spider-Man's fighting mechs, so...
It's true. Jess, I know what the fucking Megazord looks like.
I know, but I'm saying it literally is.
Yeah, I know.
Like, look at that
No,
shape.
that's the Spider-Mech.
Spider-Man.
Oh, Griff, you had someone new in your chat, but I think you missed them.
Crack Steve?
Yeah, I think he's gone.
You know, no, it's yes. He's here in the voice chat.
Oh, that's yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, it's Crack Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, then your viewer number is broken again.
Yeah, it does that. I've actually got 100,000 viewers, but it doesn't show it, you know. It's just glitched out, don't worry about it. I think that's actually the end of our show. I haven't got anything left to talk about, and we've surpassed an hour, and these are meant to be an hour, so I think that's the end of the show.
It's pretty short for a Griff show.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find
Yeah, but we got to ease back into it. We can't go cold turkey, then just jump straight into it. Let's not talk about the coronavirus.
What about the coronavirus?
I don't want to make myself scared. I have to do a presentation first thing in the morning at 9 a.m.
I have a cold. I went to work with a cold this morning, and so many fucking people made that exact same joke. Like, oh, maybe I have the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's so funny and not terrifying at all.
I'll make sure to give it to you, you fucking cunt. Count your fucking last moments on this earth.
God. Well, thank you for coming to GRYITH Show. It's been a freaking time.
on
that bombshell.
What has given us.
Thank you for coming to GRYITH Show. The coronavirus, Crack Steve. There's no way you haven't heard about the coronavirus, the Wuhan outbreak. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. It's the end of the show.
Fine.
Everything's
it's just
fine.
like every other disease.
We're verging on after dark right now.
Okay.
This is an after dark topic.
The only thing I'll say about the Wuhan virus is that the only people who have died from it are really young children and really old people.
Just like the flu.
Just
or
like the
colds.
flu.
You're
So
fine.
you're fine. Anyway, thank you for coming to the Grist Show.
Yay.
Come back next week for another epic Grist Show, and
Epic
come back
Gamers. Come back on
Wednesday.
For
It is
frogs.
Monday right now, Jez.
Next Monday for frogs.
Yes, come back to the next Grist Show where we're gonna have the first ever footage of frog_game.
What? Exclusive
like
footage of the
Grith.
finished frog_game.pde.
I know, it's incredible.
That's insane. What? This is so exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive look at frog_game.
I feel so honoured
Yeah.
to be in the presence of a man who has exclusive footage from frog_game.
But thank you for
Forget
coming
E3
to Grist Show.
2020.
We're going.
You're leaning on it.
We're going. Come back on Wednesday for an. I don't know what we're
fine.
gonna do. We're gonna play Simpsons Road Rage or something. I don't know.
Shadow the
Something on
Hedgehog,
PS.
maybe.
We're gonna be Shadow the Hedgehog
Frog
on Wednesday.
Detective.
No, or Frog Detective. I'm thinking
Games.
probably Shadow the Hedgehog. Come back on Wednesday. Bye
Play
bye.
games.
Bye bye.
Games, fun.